Yes, that's a great question. I would answer it this way. Emotional recovery is just as important, if not more, because it can lead to a lot of chronic illnesses going forward. Things like anxiety, depression, insomnia, disconnection, discomfort in social settings or at work. If you think about it, it will even impact economy in the long term because people who struggle with emotional distress after a natural disaster, if they don't heal properly, they can't return back to work and be productive members of society. So in the long term, there's a lot of suffering that's associated with it. Our nervous system holds on to stress, and once we go through something like this, it either has to learn how to let go of that stress and go back to normal level of functioning, or it will continue to reside in that space. As such, you see people around you that display a lot of mental health symptoms that debilitates them from functioning well in their daily lives. Yes, for a long time in the psychological circles, we were under the impression that talk therapy would help you reduce your trauma experience. In fact, this kind of work started with the veterans who were coming back from war and had experienced a lot of trauma. We would sit them down and have them talk about the trauma they experienced, not knowing that every time they would talk about this in a heightened state of mind, it would re traumatize them even more.
Mhm.
So, little by little, we learned that there are two ways that your, I guess, brain and body experience an event. You either process it from top down, which means kind of like you go to your brain to kind of, start processing a piece of information, which is what talk therapy is based on, or you process it bottom up, which means the body and then the brain. So all the newest research shows that with trauma gets stored in the body. So no amount of talk therapy can actually get rid of it. So we have to go to approaches that focus on the body. So we can get the body into a neutral state where you don't have that heartbeat or that escalated kind of feeling of tension in the body, that pit in your stomach, that tension in your shoulders. So if you're able to tell the story in a less heightened state of mind in that moment, your brain now has a different association with it than it did prior to that. And what techniques like EMDR, brain spotting, somatic experiencing focus on is bringing the body to a neutral state of mind when you're trying to process a piece of trauma mentally. Once this happens, you renegotiate the felt sense of the body with that traumatic experience. So, this is when you hear from clients that, yes, I think about this. Yes, it's still very disturbing to me, but now it's simply a story I tell.
How do your methods like somatic experiencing help folks in urban chaos, like our Transform You family, find peace after disaster?
That's a great question. See, if you learn the language of your body, the body is a great resource. It's continuously talking to you. So, what is burnout? Burnout is your body telling you, I can't do this anymore. You're pushing me beyond my level of comfort, right?
Right.
Let me compare it to this. If there's a lot of heat in the house, if there is a fire burning, you start hearing the fire kind of alarms in your house, alluding to the fact that you need to bring down the heat here, right? So they are a protective mechanism that kind of guide you to reduce that heat to prevent a fire, right? The body works exactly the same way. It has these built-in mechanisms like anxiety, like depression. These aren't necessarily diagnoses. I mean, they are when they get to the clinical point. But at first, when we feel the symptoms, they are our guides here to rescue us. So I feel anxious because my mind is trying to tell me something you're doing, or in some way that you're conducting yourself, it's not soothing to, it's not working for you. Maybe, let's say I'm trying to solve a problem and I'm very anxious about it. That's my psyche and my body's way to tell me maybe you need some extra information, maybe you need some help with this, right? So if I were to listen to that, then I can fix it. But the problem is most of us try to either override it or get rid of it. How do we get rid of it? By numbing ourselves. How do we numb ourselves? The list is long. Anything from relationships to sexual partners to drugs to shopping to alcohol to even more productive ways like excessive exercising, being workaholics, being constantly needing to inform ourselves or being on social media or reading the news. It's not all negative modes of doing this, but we continuously distract ourselves from feeling our feelings. If
Yeah.
we learn to learn the language of the body and listen to these things, they're kind of our like built-in helpers. They will continuously direct us in the right path so that we do what's right for us and we get better results.
Hey there. If you enjoyed this particular episode and you want to check out more of my episodes, head over to www.marcus-hart.com/podcast and you'll find more exclusive podcasts and other cool things there.